Hi, guys. So, gonna try to be pretty quick. I'm actually at my soccer practice right now. But, did everyone have a chance to read the TSA stuff?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, cool. Yes. So the first question would be like, what do you think it would be like to be a TSA agent?
What do you think it would be like to what?
To be a TSA agent?
Stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Tedious?
I don't have the personality for it.
I feel like you'd have to be pretty okay with conflict, and like approaching people and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the situation laid out in the thing was that O'Reilly's the lady in charge. Sanchez caused a security breach. So what do you guys think O'Reilly should do about that, about Sanchez?
I I think that he should definitely have some sort of if it's like a warning or he's got to go through and work on some stuff. But I don't know if he should be fired, especially because it says that he has a pretty awesome record.
Right.
Yeah, and plus, he's got such a good attitude for, they talk about the issues of, getting people to stay on, because everyone just looks at it as a temporary job before they move on, and yet she has someone who is a good fit. So, yeah, I also agree that he shouldn't be fired, but I don't know necessarily what they should do, because she needs to show that she has done something, but I don't know what she should do. But not
Right.
fired.
Right. I think you bring up a good point about he's willing to stick around. He doesn't see it as temporary, so that's good. Any thoughts with that one, Kevin?
I agree with everyone else that there should be some type of, punishment. But I don't think, I forgot what the word that they used, but it was like demoting him, having him watch the exit bay. I wouldn't even go as that far. I would probably just do maybe a written warning or something like that.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, and then maybe kind of just kind of restate, maybe the cell phone policy if there is one or something like that.
Right. So a big issue with it is that there's a lot of eyes on watching what happens. So the public, the whole TSA, and the airport. Do you think just a warning would satisfy everybody?
I don't know.
Anyone can answer.
I feel like maybe some will agree, but others won't. Especially others, and because of the security breach, other airports were affected and everything like that.
Right.
And so I feel like those people not really knowing the story are gonna want to push for either a demotion or a termination.
Yeah.
Right. So what about the paid decision making day? What do you guys think about that? You think that might be a good option?
Describe that again. Is that just paid time off?
Yeah, it's paid time off, but it's highlighted that that they go home and think about whether they want to comply by the standards of the company or not work there anymore, basically.
I feel like that would be an okay option for this too.
Yeah.
I was almost contemplating doing a not paid leave, just a short one to kind of get across it. That's kind of rough, but a punishment, enough that maybe the higher up could be like, okay, he's something like that. I kind of like that idea of either paid or unpaid, either.
Yeah, I agree with both statements.
So it sounds like no one would fire him, right?
No.
I wouldn't.
Okay, so his like negligence resulted in like 45-minute closure of the terminal, right? Travel delays and like embarrassment kind of to like the TSA. How bad do you think it would have to be to fire him? Or like fire somebody, I guess.
See, I feel like this situation, I mean, he got lucky. I mean, because obviously, like, if there was actually a legit threat, you know, like, let's say there was a bomb or something like that, I mean, chances are he's fired.
Yeah.
Okay. So does the severity of the consequence make a difference if it's like a result of the same behavior? So like you're saying that if it was more severe, even though it's the same behavior, then he should have been fired?
So I think that's the way the world works. I mean, is that fair? I don't know.
Because I feel like what he did is definitely like grounds for termination, but not necessarily for him. Like it's about maintaining like your department as well. Like, is it really that beneficial to let him go and then suffer even worse? You know, possibly having worse employees, or is it better to try to figure out how to punish him and yet have him go forward still as a great employee, but without making those mistakes?
Right. It's kind of a sticky situation either way, right?
Yeah. I mean, because the way they describe the market of getting employees is it's almost like it's not like they have an overflow of people wanting to apply for the TSA. It's not, you don't get to negotiate who works for you. You just kind of get whatever's left over.
Right.
Because the initial surge of people joining the TSA is over. Like, they're just kind of dealing with what's left now, and people aren't really signing up anymore.
Right. So kind of with that, do you think that the TSA could have like shared some fault? Maybe that they could have done a better job of recruiting or something like that?
What do you mean? Like it's their fault that they had the guy who did the breach, or?
Well, one of the sections just talks about how some of the fault may be with the TSA. So, whatever area you guys think, do you think that the TSA contributed to the breach as well, like through policy or whatever?
I think they mentioned it in there briefly when they were talking about how there needed to be better hiring techniques as well as like expectations, like for the type of work. So I think there's a partial line on that. I also think they should have a place in maybe upping the compensation just a little bit, because it seems pretty low for support. You know, their yearly salary is pretty low.
Right. So kind of with that, since this is an HR class, what do you think that the TSA could do to like make the job more meaningful and like people care about the job more?
I mean, money is always like a good motivator for me. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say incentives, you know, for going an X amount of time without an incident or something like that.
Yeah. All right, so real quick, I want you to kind of, so the scenario is that O'Reilly or Sanchez is coming in for his shift, right? And O'Reilly has to go talk to him and decide what his punishment is.
Completely certain return, vertical.
Can you kind of just like imagine for a second what it would be like as O'Reilly having to like approach him and like say something to him? So try to imagine that and then just kind of like imagine what you would say and like how that conversation would go. So literally just take like 30 seconds to just kind of imagine by yourself and think about it. Think about how hard or difficult it would be to approach him and like what the conversation would look like.
The 10.
So we're supposed to be thinking about what it would be like if we were in this situation.
So the instructions are to do a role play, but I thought instead you could maybe just kind of picture yourself as O'Reilly and kind of see, like, I guess try to envision and think about how easy or difficult or like how that conversation would go with Sanchez. But if you guys have any initial thoughts, that's fine.
So if it was me, like on one hand, if I screwed up, like I would hopefully want to be let off, but at the same time, if they were too lenient with me, I might get complacent, and especially when it's something that's like airport security like that, you don't want to get complacent. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like, oh well, I made a mistake last time, and they were really chill, so it'll be, if it happens again, it's not a big deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to find that middle ground. That's probably, honestly, if it was me, I would want something that's merciful, but harsh enough that I want to make sure to never do that again.
Right. So do you feel like, as the person having to deliver that, do you think that you could do a good job, or like that kind of stuff make you nervous?
I mean, having to confront anyone about anything is always a little bit rough sometimes, but
yeah,
I feel like I could probably be pretty open and honest with them, be like, look, man, we appreciate all you do. Like, you're a fantastic worker, but you screwed up, and your screw up could have caused a lot worse issues than did happen. And this can't happen again,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's well put. Thanks. Jacob or Kevin, you guys have any thoughts?
No, I really don't. I think you just summed it up.
I mean, because it's really tough, because obviously he's a nice guy, and at the same time, you're partially preaching to the choir, but he did make a mistake at the same time. Like, I still don't know what course of action I would take as far as, confronting him and making him understand, but it would have to be very, very upfront and earnest just about how serious it is, and possibly have a plan going forward about how he's basically going to pay for his mistake and yet still be able to recover.
Right. Yeah, I like how you pointed out, kind of like preaching to the choir. Like, he knows he messed up, right? And that's, like, I'm a soccer coach, and that's one thing that I've learned, that, like, you don't need to waste time telling a player that, like, they messed up a lot of the time, because they, like, know that they made a mistake. It's just about correcting it. But, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Okay. All right, so we're just going to kind of start wrapping it up. So can I have each of you just give me, like, final decision, what you would have done, like, if you were O'Reilly?
I would have, if I was O'Reilly, I would have probably done given him a warning and given him maybe like a day suspension or something.
Okay.
But then let him go back to it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how many positionings there are, but if I could, I know that they talked about management positions, but if there was even any sort of like office position, I might move him to that temporarily.
Okay.
I know that's mostly not what's done in the TSA, but I know there's a little bit of that. But it's hard, because that would probably include promotion, but if there was a way to do that without promoting him, I don't know, but just like take him off the lines for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Kevin?
I think what I'm leaning toward is kind of like an official write-up, and maybe do I'm stuck between doing the paid and unpaid time off.
Okay. Well, cool. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay. Personally, I feel like I would lean towards the paid leave, the day off or whatever. But you guys want to hear what happened?
Sure.
So Sanchez got a warning, but he was not fired. But then 2 months later, he caused another serious breach. So what would you guys do now?
Oh man, see, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, see, he was all like, oh, they just gave me a warning. So he didn't have the fear of God in him. He didn't think he's going to lose his job. So he'd probably at that point he'd probably get reassigned to something lower or fired if you met two of them like that.
Okay.
That would be a quick fire for me.
Okay.
So,
sorry, did you say fire as well?
yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, like, what do you think overall that this, like, case that we read teaches, like, about discipline? Like, is there anything about discipline that you kind of take away from?
not simple, and you can't take a one-step approach to it.
Good. Yeah, I like that. The one-step approach. Can't do that.
Especially when you're in a beggar's market and you can't just get anyone you want. You don't go out recruiting for the TSA, so
Right.
especially in situations like that.
And the TSA is so much like in the public eye that everyone, is going to see that kind of stuff. But, anything from you, Daniel or Kevin?
I mean, just after that, I would let him go. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, that first warning that I would give him would be a pretty bold and stern warning. But I mean, if you can't go 2 months without having another incident, then
Yeah. So do you think there's a takeaway that you learned from this case study or from the discussion, I guess, too?
You've got to find the right balance on how to come down on people when they make mistakes. Because if you're too lenient, people will make the same mistakes again. If you're too harsh, people will not want to work there and will have have issues. You got to find that good middle ground.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened the second time? Did he get fired?
It doesn't say. I would imagine he got fired, but it doesn't say. All right. So we're pretty much done. I think that's going to be good enough for tonight. How would you rate the quality of today's discussion from 0 to 10?
Wait, what's up?
Sorry, I think that's good enough for the case study. So if everyone just wants to rate the discussion from 0 to 10.
I'll give that a 9.5.
Maybe an 8.5.
All right, cool.
and I'll go right in the middle of a 9.
Okay. All right. Was there anything that I did that you guys liked or didn't like?
Short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
All right. Anything that I should change for next time? Maybe not
Play
be
metal
in
music
such a
in the
loud
background.
environment.
Yeah.
Be a better environment if we could listen to some metal while we were talking about stuff.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. So I think I've got next week, right?
I think so. I mean, everyone else has gone twice, right?
Yeah, and this will be my second time, and then I can do it a third time after that.
Okay. Cool. All right.
All right, guys. Well, that's good.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
See ya.